Hello everyone. Welcome to yet another live stream from Hack This Fall. And this time we are coming up with a pretty interesting one topic to talk about. And before we jump onto that, I would like to take this time to wish all of you a happy New Year. Those who all are celebrating right after the Christmas, all the holiday season. I hope it was super exciting for you to celebrate all this with your friends and family. Talking about the live stream today, we are switching the context. You have already been part of some of our live streams in the past. From now on, I think it will start becoming more technical, more hands on. So, if you're joining in from your home, offices, colleges, make sure you have your laptop around so that in case you think to follow up or follow along, you can, right? So that was just a quick thing I wanted to add. But yeah, the topic is building AR experiences with Meta Spark. In case you are thinking to build anything around AR VR, you all know that we have a track around it. Again, you're not limited to it. You can build anything and everything you wish to. So this is just an extension of all our tracks that we have this year. And you can choose to be part of this workshop to learn something new or to learn how to build something new out of this particular domain. And with that being said, let me quickly invite our speaker for this particular session, who is Mrunank Pawar. Welcome, Mrunank. How are you?
Hi, I'm doing great. How are you?
All good, all good. I'm super excited to host you in this one. Me and Mrunank have been connected for quite some time now, and it's definitely amazing to see him uh, joining Haggis Falls, I think 2 years back as an
Yeah,
evangelist, and today joining as a speaker. I think that journey is incredible. So maybe Mrunank, if you could start by our introduction a
sure,
little,
sure,
and then maybe we can start with the session as well.
sure. So currently, I'm a MSc student at Santa Clara University here in California, US, and I have been MLS Top 50 Hackers for 2023. I am a founder and lead at Club Tech Brewers, which is a community that we are building around tech to help folks learn technologies in a fun way by building projects, learning, and connecting with people. And yeah, I am a huge fan of hackathons and communities. I started my community journey by looking at Siddharth. So yeah, I have been part of a lot of hackathons. I like to contribute to those, and here I am. Yeah,
Awesome. I think that was incredible. I would just not like to waste further more time from for our attendees, but I'll quickly bring up your screen, and here you go.
thank
All the
you,
very best.
thank you. Cool. So in today's world, we all have heard about AR, VR, Meta, and all those fancy VR headsets. So why don't almost all of us have some or the other time used AR filters, those which are on either Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat. So why not we build our own social AR experience? So we will be going through each and every detail, like what augmented reality is and what are the different types of AR experiences that you can build. And also it's a hands-on, so we will be building one amazing AR experience. So let me switch to the next slide. And here's my intro. I already gave that. Just missed a few things, like I am a Metaspark creator, the tool that we are going to utilize today, and I have been expert trainer for the same. If you want to follow, connect with me on socials, you can just take a screenshot of this slide, and you can connect with me on Twitter, Instagram, or LinkedIn. Cool. So these are the few things that we are going to learn today. The first one is understanding augmented reality. So basically, before moving into building an AR experience, let's understand what AR basically is. Then we will learn what is Metaspark, because before actually moving on to building a thing on a particular platform, let's understand, like, it's important to have a basic understanding of what the platform provides, what it is used for, what are the uses, what are the advantages of using that platform. Then I have a few examples of social layer experiences that I have developed in the past, which can give you a rough idea of what we can do with developing those experiences. And then we will move on to the hands-on part, where we will be simply creating a social layer experience. It will be simple, but it will give a clear understanding of all the basic aspects of actually developing a social layer experience. And last but not the least, I will show you how you can publish your AR experience on Facebook and Instagram so that anyone in the world can utilize your filters in their stories, reels, and posts. Yeah. So with that, let's move forward to what is augmented reality. So the if we think of a proper definition, then it is all about a technology that integrates the digital information with users' physical environment. So what it basically means is that we have this digital information like, for example, there are a few assets like the time is there, location. So it's a digital information, to be honest, and we are integrating it with users' physical environment. So if you might have seen or if you might have used Snapchat filters or social air experiences on Facebook and Instagram, there is this location tag. When you swipe, they either give you a LUT filter, which is different shades, like you can change it to black and white, vivid, and many more themes. Many more filters are available. You can just swipe and you can get nearby locations. So it's all digital information that we are actually integrating into users physical environment. If you think of few games like Pokemon Go, so it was a physical environment and digital information was getting integrated into it. So, in simple words, in short, just to summarize all these things, it's basically something that is not physically present, but you can visualize those things. That is all augmented reality is all about, because you are augmenting something, some digital information. So, moving forward to what is Metaspark. Metaspark is a platform or a tool that we can say which is developed by Meta, and there are two big and most important components of Metaspark. One is Metaspark Studio, and the second is Metaspark Player. So, Metaspark Studio is the actual tool that we will be using to build our social layer experience, whereas Metaspark Player is a tool or a kind of utility we can say which we can use for testing out our AR filters or AR experiences. So the most important thing or the crucial part of the Metaspark toolkit we can say is Metaspark Studio, because we need to develop our social AR experience on Metaspark Studio only. There is no alternative. Whereas to Metaspark Player, there is an alternative that you can just either plug in your phone or mobile device with your laptop and you can test it out on your uh, mobile device. Or there is another option that if you have your Instagram and Facebook connected with your account of Meta account, then you can simply just there are a few buttons on the Metaspark Studio which you will see as we move forward. You can just click that share the preview link and you can test it out. You can again come back to Metaspark Studio, make the changes, again test it out. So it's basically very useful when you are creating an AR experience for somebody else rather than for yourself. So for example, if you are developing an AR experience for a team or for an organization, then you need to get their feedback, and this is where it becomes handy to just get the preview link and you can share it with them. So imagine what we can do with augmented reality. So let's take a 2 minute pause, and I would like to ask all of you to what do you imagine you can do with augmented reality, like even if it's basic thing, or what would you like to be developed in the augmented reality field? Just think upon it. Anything might work, like either a game or something that you might have experienced and you liked it a lot, or something that comes in your dream, like oh, if this happens, then it will be really amazing. I have been thinking of like something like during the COVID, we weren't able to touch the objects physically, touch the objects or get hands-on experience. So we can just, with the help of augmented reality, we can actually get a proper understanding of the dimensions of a proper product. Like if it's a mobile device, then we can get an estimate that what is the dimensions of those of that particular device using the augmented reality. So there are various use cases where we can use augmented reality. I have worked on two of those. Like the first one is artistic alphabets, where you can draw the alphabet above or the letter above displayed above with the help of your nose. So it's basically for the kids. And the second one is a solar system, where it is using target tracking, where it's basically getting a target of those planet sheets, and it is basically generating a 3D model out of those target. So we can just add some rotation and all the other parameters to those 3D models. So these are the things that we can develop using social AI experience. I would like to develop a feature in online shopping websites, like when we buy clothes from online, so you can see it through. Amazing! It would help us a lot because it will just reduce all the stress of uh, try ordering some clothes, trying it out, and then returning it again because we didn't like those. So yeah, it's really an amazing use case. So now we can get started. There are a few steps that need to be considered before getting on to the working of developing a social AI experience. So firstly, we need to download Metaspark Studio. Second thing is prepare the assets. The third one is we can start building our AR experience. And then the last step is publish your AR experience. So there are a few steps that I have omitted into these four things, like testing your AR experience, then again altering it as per your expectations. So for downloading Metaspark Studio, you can simply Google Metaspark Studio download, and you can download it for your particular version, either it's a Windows or Mac OS. Then for preparing assets, you can simply use Canva, Blender, anything that that is of your choice. If you want some 3D models, then you can use Blender. You can also download those from there's a website. You can just download FBX extension 3D models. You have all those things in Metaspark Hub as well. I will show you once we dive into the Metaspark Studio. So assets are basically images or models that we are going to use in our AR experience. So today we will be developing a Happy New Year if AR experience, because we are in the second day of the new year. So it was a recent occasion or function, we can say. So yeah, let's try it out. Cool. I have started the Metaspark Studio. This is how it might look. Now I have signed in with my Facebook, or you can just log in with your Facebook or Instagram ID. Also, if possible, make sure that both of your accounts are connected with each other. You can go to Account Center and you can make sure that both of those things are connected, and you can link those accounts so that it will be easier for you to basically uh, send the preview link to both your Facebook account as well as your Instagram account. So after you sign in, this is what you can see. There is this blank project, sharing effect, and video calling effect. So sharing effect basically is used for creating an AR experience which can be shared on post, stories, reels, and messages. Whereas video calling effect is used for Instagram and Messenger platform, where you are developing something for that people can use with their friends and families while they are on video call. There are different templates available: depth, color, overlay, camera blur, and many more. So you can start with these as well. Like there are post processing filters, hair color, 3D stickers, color filters, uh, then hand movement, hand tracker. body movement, 3D animated car, and background change, of course. So there are a lot of templates available. Once you get a good understanding of the basics, you can quickly start with a template, or you can simply start a blank project as well. So for today, we are going to start with a blank project, so then I can explain all the important things and the basic things, and we can start from scratch. So I'll click on the blank project, and I'll just enter the full screen. Here you have different simulations available. You can either click any of these, or you can turn on your own camera as well. Yeah. So just a minute. Yep. So this is how your Metaspark Studio looks like once you click on the create a new blank project. So there are I basically think of it as three basic parts of the Metaspark Studio. The left one has the scene and layers panel. The middle one, the biggest part, is viewport, where you can view how you are developing your AR experience within this space. And the right side is for properties or transformations that we will see later as we add on some objects right in the left panel. Then on the left side at the bottom you have assets, where all the assets that you have prepared, like either it may be some of your images, the 3D models, or anything. You can basically just import all those either from your computer or AR library. And yeah, so let's go from the topmost side, the left side to the towards the right side. So starting with this video option, I just showed you that you can either turn on your camera, or you can just select any of these simulations as well. So now you can pause your frame for the simulator. This is the simulator. You can just change the size of this as well. You can pause it at a particular head movement, like for example, if I'm seeing it right into the camera and I pause it, and now I am moving, but the simulator isn't. So it's basically used when you want to particularly uh, make an arrangement of a particular object at a particular location. At that time, this pause and play function might become handy. Then the restart button is basically used for uh, the restart function is used when you have some animation or a particular thing that triggers quickly and has a time limit. Like for example, if you have a popper that's popping for 5 seconds, then it will come and go. So you can just, while testing out the filter, you can click on restart and it can again happen. Then there is AR library. This is what I was talking about. You can get 3D objects, music and sound, patch assets, textures, blocks. A lot of things are here. You can also install color LUTs from here for your project. So for example, if I want a 3D object of a hat, I can just click search for hat. You can select Sketchfab. Sketchfab was the website I was thinking about. You can simply click on this and you can import for free. So you can utilize any of these things. It's free of cost, and you just need to go, you can download that thing, and it will be available in your assets panel. So yeah, I'll just answer this question. In this, do we need to learn anything language, or just it's like drag and drop? So it's simply drag and drop. You can just drag few things, drop a few things. But when you move to advanced level, you can do scripting as well. When you are developing an game in social AR experience, like you are developing an game in the AR, so you might need a few code which can be done through the scripting, but we won't be covering that as we have limited time and we need to develop an AR experience, and also we will be showing how to publish it, right? So after the AR library, there is this test on device button, which is an alternative for the Metaspark player. that I mentioned. When you click here, uh, we'll just go through this once we have developed our AR experience, and this is the publish button. Right, so let's start, I guess. This is the viewport. We can zoom in this part by, you can just click control and just move your mouse wheel. And if you are on Windows and if you are on Mac, then you can just press command and zoom in, zoom out. You can just click and drag this thing to pan around. Okay, so I usually prefer this thing this way. Right. So right now, mm, I have a basic idea that what I will be developing is, we will be having a Happy New Year image. I will just import that, and we will be having it at the top, and it will move with my head movement. So firstly, let's add in our asset. So I have it downloaded. So I will go to import from computer, and I have it on my desktop. This is the image that I want, and I will click open. So now I will just do the all the types of compression to none for the iOS, Android, and older Android. Perfect. So here you can see that this is the image that I want to add at the top of my head. So now moving to the scene panel, we are done with the textures right for now. This is the only texture that we are going to use. And now moving to the scene panel, we will be adding a few objects. So just click on this add button, and I will have a plane. Okay, I just skipped. So you can just click here. You can either go through this. There are various things available here. Scene understanding. So there are four things: face tracker, plane tracker, target tracker, and hand tracker. So right now we are going to use face tracker. Uh, there was one template that I showed you, which had the hand tracker capability. The one of the things that I showed in my PPT, it included a plain target tracker, which basically tracked the target of those cards, planet cards, and generated a 3D model above it. There are various 3D models like plane, null object, 3D object, face mesh, 3D text, vector object. 2D objects are there like canvas, rectangle, and 2D stack, 2D text, and various lights. So first, initially we need a plane, which is a 3D object. So I will click there, or you can just simply search at the top, plane, and click on insert. Now I have this plane in form of a checkerboard kind of thing, or a chessboard kind of thing. There are some blank things right there. And now my goal is that I want this texture of Happy New Year to be applied on this plane. So firstly, I will just rename it to Happy New Year plane, or I will just keep it Happy New Year. Right. So right now, consider this as it's a wall, and we want to beautify this wall. So I always give this kind of analogy, so it's good for understanding the basic concept, because every time you are applying a material or a texture, anytime you are applying a texture to an object, you need to follow these steps. So this is a brick wall, you can consider this the plane. We can't directly apply color on this wall, right? So we need to apply some material, cement or some other material, so that we can get a plain texture, and above that we can add our uh, texture or this image that we have. So just click on this plane. On the right side you have this option saying materials. Just click on the plus sign, and you can see that there is a light gray shade, and we can just rename this. On the left side, again at the bottom in the assets panel, you can see there is a material 0, so we will just rename it to HNY material. Right. Now, for this material, I want to change a few properties. Mostly the first one. Go to shader type, and we will be changing it from standard to flat. Right now, just look at this part or this part. It's looking a bit grayed out, and as soon as I click on flat, it will turn to complete white. You might have seen the difference. It's because the reason behind it is that when we change the shader type to flat, it simply ignores all the ambient, all the light, this directional light is doing. Uh, if I go to directional light and uh, if I go to the material and change again from flat to standard, you can see that the directional light is having an effect on it, because if you see from the top, it's the light is appearing at the top part, and the our plane is like this. When I add it to my head tracker, and as soon as I move my head, then this will you can just visually see the difference that when I am moving my face downwards, it's completely shadowed, and when I am moving my face upwards towards the directional light, it's completely bright. So I don't want my plane or my image to be interfered with this directional light, and that's the reason I'm just changing the shader type from standard to flat. It's completely upon you, how you like your AR experience to be. You can keep it standard as well. There's nothing wrong. You can change the color as well by just clicking here. I will keep it white. Right. So now, this was a brick wall. On the brick wall, we have applied some material right now, and on that material, we will be adding the texture. Right. So it's time to paint the wall. So we want to add this texture on this material. Just go to this material. On the right hand side in the properties panel, you can see a texture here. So you can just click on this drop down, and we already have imported this HNY texture. I will just click on it. Oops. I will just once again uh, import the image. Okay. So right now you can see I will just change its compression to none. This is a step that we did earlier, just because I imported the texture again. That's the reason I just changed all those properties once again. So if you missed out these things, I went to materials. Then on the right side under the properties panel, we have texture. Just in textures, click on the drop down, and you can select this HNY texture if you have imported. If you haven't, don't worry, you can just click on new texture, and you can select any image that you have on your device. Okay, so partially we have completed a work that we have this image ready, and I ensured that I have it as a transparent background, because it gives a good effect on the mobile device instead of having a black or white background as a square image. Right. So now our next aim is that we want this to be tracked with our face or with our head. As I move my head, I want this thing as well to move. So I will again go back to the scene panel. I'll click on the plus sign. Now I have this face tracker capability. You can just read out the description there is on the right side. Find, follow, and select a single face in your scene. If you add children to the face tracker, it will control their position, scale, and rotation. It can also be used to control a face mesh. So you can just click on face tracker and click on insert. You have this face tracker right here. I will just show you a minor change. You can't actually see in this either on the simulator or here, that the face tracker has been added. As earlier, we when as soon as we click enter on the plane, there was some chessboard kind of thing that displayed on the screen, but for face tracker it didn't appear. So there is a minor change that I will show you. I'll just delete it. Right now, if you see my face right here, so there are no arrows or no axis right here. So as soon as I click on plus sign and insert the face tracker, you can see that there are three axes, X, Y, and Z axis on my face. And as I'm moving my head, there these three axes are as well moving, and the origin of that is nearly around my nose. So yeah, we have successfully imported our face tracker as well. Now, what I want to do is I want this plane to be added in my face tracker. So this is a simple step. Just make sure that you are. We just want to drag this plane and drop it in the face tracker. But make sure that you are ensuring. Just click on this HNY, and while dropping, you should see a thin blue rectangle border around the face tracker, and just drop it there. And now you can see that it's getting tracked with my head movement. As I am moving my head, it's moving, but I don't want it on my nose, I want it at the top of my head. So there are two ways we can do this thing. Either you can change the what we can say properties through the numerical values for the x, y, and z axis, or you can simply drag this thing from the viewport itself. So let's try out a mixed thing. Now, firstly, I will just change the position of it on the y-axis. It was the y- okay, 0.5 is going to about 0.05. So 0.25. When you are playing with these properties in the properties panel, you have to try out a lot of things. You have to experiment with it. Right now, I feel it's pretty good because it being a kind of it's giving a 3D effect kind of thing. So okay, point 15 looks good for me. Or now I will just show you this thing with help of the arrow. Right now, I want my face to be steady, so I will just click on this pause, and I will click on this green arrow and pull it above. Okay, and I have it. I can just play it again. Okay, looks good. So it's 0.1619 something. I'll just change it to 0.16. Yeah. Now it's looking too small. We can scale it as well on both x and y axis. It doesn't have much depth, so we won't be touching the z axis. Um, let's say 1.2, and using the y axis as well to 1.2. Okay, looks good. If you want a bit small image, you can just change it as well. Now for scaling, you can just through this thing, you can just click on these small squares that are available in the viewport, and you can scale along two axes with those tiny squares. So if you want to scale along the x and y axis, then you can simply use this square. If you want it along y and z axis, then you can just use this red square right uh, on this left side. And if you want it along the x and z axis, then you can use this green square, right? So we are done till this point. We can experiment a few more things. Anyone has any doubts, you can just post it right now in the comments, and meanwhile we will just add one more thing or one more capability into our project. So we will click on plus button, and at the bottom we have this particle system. Just click on particle system and click on insert. So right now you can see that there are particles that are getting generated from a certain particular point, and what we want is a confetti kind of thing that's falling from the top to the bottom, and we need to invert this thing. So there are two ways we can just rotate this thing. So in the viewport we have three options. One is for the position, the second one you can say it's for the rotation, and the third one is for scaling. I will click on rotation. We can just rotate it like this. It's 179. Okay, I will just do it here. Minus 180 degree, and yep, we are done. Now I want to change its position to the top. So I'll just drag this green line and do it at the top. Okay. So it's getting generated right now, but you can't see in the simulator because the particles are getting generated, and they are getting like the birth rate and the lifespan of those particles is too less. Also, one more thing I want to mention here is that when you go to material, when you add a particular material, on the right side go to advanced render options. The reason I am telling this is if you see there is an error that's happening on the top when I'm moving towards the camera. It's basically cutting those particle systems. Those are getting rendered at the back, and as I move backwards, those are getting in front of me. So I want to remove that thing. So because it's using the depth test, it's actually considering the particles as a background and me as a foreground. So I just want to remove that those things. And right now you can see that though happy new year is written, the particle systems are falling down. Those are not completely reaching at the bottom because of the lifespan, which we will set up soon. I will just rename it to confetti. So there are different types of emitters. This one is point because it's getting generated from a single point. We can change it to line. Okay, so that those are getting generated from a particular line. Length is zero point 0.1. I will just increase it to 0.3. Okay, so it's covering the entire screen. Space world. Birth rate is 20. Mhm. Let's reduce it to 15. Those are a lot of confetti. We can again come back and change the birth rate. Then the speed. Okay, we can keep 0.15, and yeah, the variation is 40%. So the variation is basically gives you like not all the particles are moving at the same speed. So it's basically giving a plus minus thing. A few particles are moving at a exact 0.15, a few are moving at less speed, and a few more are at a higher speed than that. Now for the particle the scale is 0.01. We can change that again at the latter point of time. Lifespan, this is when the particle that is getting generated will die. So we will just increase its lifespan to 2 seconds, I guess, so that they are reaching at the bottom. Oops, they are dying. So let's change it to 5 seconds, maybe. Okay. So now in the viewport, you can see that those are reaching at the bottom, and I guess birth rate is too high. There are a lot of confetti that's happening, and I can restart. Okay, cool. It's looking good right now, but I don't want those mm, cubes. or I want those cubes. You can change the shape as well. You can just change from plane to cube, sphere, anything that you want. You can have those as stars. So if you are creating a Christmas kind of thing and you want to show some snowflakes that are uh, falling from the top, then you can just use star, triangle based pyramid. I'll just keep it to plane. Okay. And again, as I mentioned, this is a object and we want to apply some material just in case we want to add some texture to it, right? We will add a material, create new material, and again I will change it from standard to flat, or for this I can keep it to standard. So when those are at the top, they are getting a color with respect to the directional light, and as they fall down, then they show their original color, and it will give us a good realistic effect. I will change this material name to confetti mat. Cool. Right now I have changed it. Again, we'll go back to confetti and properties. Now we have this thing done. Okay, so we can change this triangle. So the now the generation of these particles is not linear. Like they are not getting spread at a linear way. Like they are not falling right in the straight line, but they are getting at a diverse, like they are getting some diversion. If you can see here, they are coming towards the left, coming towards the right. I can just keep it to 20. Now we can spin these particles as well. So let's give a spin of 20 maybe. So you can see those are spinning like here. And I guess even this birth rate is a lot. Looks good. Okay. Uh, you can also tilt those 25. You can just play with random values initially. Sorry. You can simply play with random values and get an idea of how those are working. You can again come back and play with these things. Now, cool. It's looking pretty good right now. So let's add some color to this confetti. I will go to confetti mat, and in the color I will. There's a golden kind of shade to it. Yep. This looks a bit uh, golden, like similar to golden. I'll just click it and let's try different things. Keep it standard. We'll go here. Okay. So if you see that, I'll just zoom this. Okay. When the particle is at the top, it's looking a bit darker, and as it moves at the bottom, it's changing its color a bit. Not a major change, but yeah. Again, I will go to advanced render options and just unselect these two things. You can control the opacity of that as well. Cool. So I hope you like this AR, like you are able to understand of what are the things that are included in Metaspark Studio, and how you can develop a simple AR experience. At least you can just at any time you can use templates, you can make use of this AR library, you can add 3D models into the scene and play with it. So yeah, there are a lot of things that you can do. So if you have any questions, let me know. At least for now, let's limit it to developing a social area experience, and other questions we can take once we move on after we do the publishing part. Can we choose multicolor? So for a particular material, like you can't choose multicolor. So if you want multicolor confetti, what you can simply do is you can duplicate this thing. I will just quickly show you. You can just click on confetti and you can duplicate it by either right clicking and saying duplicate, or control D, command D. Now I have this thing, and what I can do is for this confetti, I will change this material, create a new material. I will have it as confetti mat 2, and for this I will change its color to some other color, so you can have the multicolor effect. So this is how you can do a multicolor thing. Yep, cool. So I guess there are no more questions, so we can move forward to how we can publish this effect, right? So for publishing the effect, okay, we forgot testing this effect on our device. Below the AR library, there is a test on device button. Just click on it. You need to select an experience type. So we will click on add experience, and here we have to click on this plus button, and there are three things. First one is add effect, video calling, and sharing effect. We have developed this thing for the sharing effect, so click on the third option and click on insert. You can select a particular platform or keep both of those as selected, the Instagram and Facebook, camera and existing media. So I usually prefer to use camera and existing media. It's basically that you can apply this social air experience to any of your previous photos from your photo gallery while posting a story or a reel on Instagram. So you can use camera and existing media. It's totally up to you what you want to use. And I will click on done. And once again, when I go to test on device, I can see both these options, Instagram and Facebook. And as soon as I click on the send button, okay, okay, there is some network issue. Whenever I click on send, I'm online, right? Okay. So whenever I click on send, it will show me. I don't know why this error is coming, but it will show you a small thing saying that uh, you can share this link as a preview to your friends and family, or as I mentioned, if you're developing this AR experience for someone or some organization, then you can send the preview link, but it has a limit of 50 users. So you make sure that you are just sharing that link to a limit of 50 people. Okay, there is some network error at my side. That's the reason. I'm sorry for the inconvenience. We will just look at how we can publish it. We can click on publish button. Ooh, okay. Uh, what is this thing? Okay, I will just show it. or a different method. You can simply go to Metaspark Studio, manage effects. Here you can sign in with your profile. I don't know why it's showing. So basically, when you have your Meta account signed in, unfortunately, my Meta account got signed out from Metaspark Studio. So when it's signed in, you can simply click on this upload button and it will redirect you to this website, Metaspark Hub. So Metaspark Hub is a platform where it's basically a website where all your social air experiences are uh, like available. You can see the insights of your all the effects that you have created. You can change it to lifetime or like, but if you want to look for a particular platform, uh, how your effect performed. So I will go back to home and I will click on publish effect. So these are the few things that you need to feel while you are publishing the effect. So you have to give a name to your effect. We can say Happy New Year. Then we can click on upload file. So this is the AR export file. So I will show you how you can generate it. You can click here and when you click on the publish button on the left side, you have this export button, HNY, export. I have got this file. Okay. Now I can just click here and on the desktop, I have this file. I can click on upload. Okay. You can select owner. Either you want your Facebook account or Instagram account to be your owner, and then you can select if you want to publish it for a particular platform or for both the platforms, then public or link only. Then yeah, you can select categories. So you have to select four categories. Right now, it's for selfies because it's using the face tracker. Then it's for maybe event. It depends on mood, or you can just select any four categories that you think those are relevant to your AR experience. And here you have to add in up to 20 keywords, which will help people on Instagram or Facebook to find your AR experience. So make sure that those are relevant, and you can just type a particular keyword and hit enter, so it will just get selected. You can enter more 19 keywords for better search. Then also you need two more things before getting on to publishing. The first one is a demo video of how the AR filter looks, or if it has a particular capability. Like we saw it, one of the effect had this hand tracking movement. So how can the user know that they have to move their hand or they have to use their hands while developing while using the AR experience? So that's the reason you have to shoot a small demo video, and people can know that what they need to do to get proper use or to properly utilize that particular AR experience. And the second thing is that you need a small icon which goes right here. So this tiny square, or when you are uploading stories, there is a circular button. There might be. Yeah, this is the circular button that I'm talking about. So you can just create your logo. It can be 200 by 200, I guess. Yeah, 200 by 200 pixel logo. You can create it on Canva or anything, or you can simply use a video thumbnail. Like once you upload the demo video, it will allow you to select from 10 or 20 frames, 10 frames, I guess. You can select any frame from those that video. Then you can go to publication date. If you want it to be published at a particular time and date, then you can select this, or as soon as possible. So this is how once you submit, then the Metaspark team will review your effect and it will get published on your Instagram and Facebook or on the platforms that you wished for. And this is how you can publish it. Just a few things to make a note of are that when you are developing an AR experience, make sure that there are no offensive items or offensive things on your in your AR experience, like guns or anything, because if it happens to be there, then there are more chances that your effect might get rejected. And even if it gets accepted by due to some reasons, later on Meta might remove your AR experience from the Metaspark Hub platform, and you might be notified that this effect cannot be longer used. So make sure that you are having these things in your mind. And yep, that's all from my side. So I hope you had a good idea of how you can develop the AR experience, and this whole process is free or it's paid. It's completely free. You can publish, develop your Metaspark, your AR experience on Metaspark. You can publish it for free on Metaspark Hub. So yeah,
Awesome. Thank you so much, Mrunank. In the
thank
chat, if you have any questions, I think you can always connect with Mrunank on his Twitter. The handle is Mrunank Pawar, the same as his name is, and you can connect with him over there, and he'll be more than happy to help you out. Mrunank, thank you
sure.
so much for delivering that workshop. I'm sure many of the hackers and community members might be interested in building something around here. Before we actually end or conclude this live stream, do you have any ending remarks on about how hackers can use AR experiences during the hackathon?
So I just want to let them know that make sure that don't limit yourself to a particular thing, that okay, this is the only thing that we can build. If you think of it, if you can ideate something that can be used in real life, and you make an AR experience that can be used by people for the good, then it would be like Hack This For has this thing, innovate for good. So if if you can build something that people can use in their real lives using augmented reality, then that would be really great.
Yeah, absolutely. I see there's one question, no limits
Yeah,
on the amount of creations.
no, you can create any number of AR experiences for free.
Yeah, probably I'm gonna go back and follow along this particular video to try create some filters for myself or for Hack This Part. But yeah, thank you
Sure,
so
sure.
much, Murang, for
Thank
sharing
you.
all of this.
Thank you so much.
Awesome. Perfect. Then, for all the people who are still in the live stream, thanks for tuning in. In case you're watching this later, thanks for joining. And feel free to share this particular live stream with all your friends who wants to build something around AR experiences. I think this can be a great start, and eventually you can start building on top of it. And I sincerely thank Mrunang for taking us through all these uh, methods and giving us that hands-on experience as well. So thanks for that. And on that note, it's already 2nd January. For all of you who haven't applied to Hack This Fall, in case you're willing to, feel free to apply now. It's on lou.ma/hack this fall. You can visit our website for all the details that you might ever need. And in case you feel like there's any questions unanswered, please join our Discord and you can ask directly, reach out to us and ask your questions there, right? We are gonna host a lot of more such sessions in the future coming ahead. So in case you haven't checked out our schedule, please go ahead on our website hackthisfall.tech, and you'll be able to find all the upcoming sessions and streams and everything over there. Uh, about the application once again, it is going to be closed super soon. I would say this week itself. So in case you are still waiting, grab your team and register it right away in case you do not want to miss out on this one. The dates are 9 to 11 February. It is going to happen in person, 36 hours hackathon in Gandhinagar. And I definitely don't want you to miss out on this one. So thank you so much once again for everyone who tuned in, and subscribe to the channel in case you do not want to miss out on any updates in the future. Well, with that being said, I'll take a leave and I'll see you in the next one. Thank you, everyone, and take care. Bye bye.